Going on, y'all? We are back here again with the NFL Draft Grades, and yeah, man. We put out the NFC Draft Grade videos the other day, but yeah, man. Literally recording this after. Sorry, I keep on hitting the button. I'm so impatient. I'm ready to get to the grades, but yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get into it with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Literally recording this right after I recorded my NFC Draft Grades video that I did put out a day or two ago. So a little tired. Um. Yeah, man, a little tired. Gonna move my camera up a little bit. I know it won't affect it for y'all. Oh my gosh, I keep on clicking the screen on accident. Sorry. But yeah, it's 11:15 at night, so I might be yawning here and there. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Didn't check out the NFC draft grade video, go check it out. Um, and if you didn't, if this is the first one you're coming across, I did not do a overall team grade this year. I did put some pictures for the picks that I kind of like the most. Um, and I didn't get to grade some picks this year because I didn't get around to watching as many people as I usually do, due to just being busy and stuff. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Starting the AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars. Round one, pick two after they traded up. Big package, went up, got their guy, Travis Hunter, cornerback wide receiver out of Colorado. Gave this an A. I gave the trade a C plus. I feel like grading the trade just because it was kind of a big trade. Gave the trade a C plus, gave the grade an A overall as a pick though. Really, really good fit there. This was a fit that if you go watch my first mock draft of the year, I briefly talk about it when taking Travis Hunter at number 4 overall to the Patriots. And I say, hey man, like if he gets to the Jaguars at 5, got to be the pick. Has to be the pick. And this was kind of before like he was a consensus like, hey, he's going top 3, right? It was pretty well known that he was probably going top 3 at the time, but it wasn't like consensus yet. Um, and yeah, man, I was like, man, Jacksonville's the dream spot for him. I might not have ever said that on a video live, but I did say that to my friends multiple times, like while talking on the phone. Yeah, super good pick for them. Given an A. I thought this was the best possible outcome for the Jaguars. Yeah, the trade package was maybe a little much, especially to some people, but I didn't mind it too much. Round three, pick 88. They go get Caleb Ransall, corner out of Tulane. Gave us a C plus, really just hammering that cornerback room, man. And I know they did say that Travis Hunter is probably going to be playing more receiver than corner for them. But yeah, man, I don't mind the prospect too much. The value was there. Maybe 2 or 3 corners still left on the board at the time that I liked a little more than Caleb Ransall, but didn't mind it too much. Round three, pick 89, Wyatt Milam, interior offensive lineman. He was a tackle at West Virginia. He is slotted and projected to play guard at the next level in the NFL, and that's kind of where I was projecting him to play, anyways. But they needed offensive line help, and if he's a guy that played tackle in college, and if he's a guy that can play guard, play tackle, play center in the NFL. Why not? You need help on the offensive line anyways. You've had injuries there. Like it's been a big problem with Trevor Lawrence in his career. Like his offensive line's been kind of inconsistent. Why not? Like I really like that pick. B minus. Thought the value was good as well. Round four, pick 104. They took Bayshaw Tootin, running back out of Virginia Tech. I gave this a C minus. Um, their running back room situation is just so weird, and there was at least 2 or 3 running backs I think on the board at the time that I liked better than Bayshaw Tootin. So I don't mind the prospect. I don't mind maybe necessarily saying you need a running back, but not the best pick for them for me in my opinion. Round four, pick 107, Jack Kaiser, linebacker Notre Dame. I gave this a C minus. Need kind of there, but like not really. At the same time, I mean, you got Fuese Aluakan and oh my gosh, what's the other guy I'm thinking of? Devin Lloyd, a guy that they took in the first round, right? Like 23rd, 24th overall, I think, in 2021, 2020. What year was that? Devin Lloyd was 2022, I think, actually, first round pick. Voice Luakon, I'm looking at it now. Also got the 2022 third round pick, Chad Muma. They got Ventrell Miller in there. But like, yeah, man, I mean, I just don't know if the fit's there for Jack Kaiser. Also, there's better linebacking prospects on the board at the time that I like more than him. Round six, pick 104, they took Jalen McLeod. As I say it, not McLeod, McLeod, linebacker out of Auburn. I gave this a C. He's actually more of an edge rusher, outside backer than an interior backer in the announcement as linebacker. It's my boy J Mack, man. When I was in college up at App State helping out with the football team, man, I knew J Mack pretty well. So glad to see him get drafted, man. This is the first time I think ever in one of my mock drafts and in a video where I'm like, hey man, I actually know this guy. So I think that's really, really cool. Um, Kind of DeMarco Jackson last year or 2 years ago now with the Saints. Kind of knew him a little bit as well. I feel like there's one more person, but maybe not. Um, yeah, that's my bad, guys. Like I said, I'm sorry. It's so late right now. It's 11:20, so I am tired. So there'll be some yawns here and there. I'm gonna try to fight them off as much as possible. Round six with 200, took Rayon Lane the third, I think as I say it. Safety out of Navy, no grade there, just because didn't get around to watching him. Round seven, pick 221. I thought this was great value in Jordan Mohim, center out of Southern Cal. Probably could play guard as well. Gave us a C plus. That was great, great value for them. Round seven, pick 236 of Quentin Allen, running back Syracuse. I gave this a C minus. I liked the prospect. I thought it was good value for him. But after you already took Bayshaw Tootin and you have Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, it's like I just don't really see it. And I feel like they have somebody else in that running back room as well. No, they didn't. Okay. And they also signed Jaquindon Jackson, which I thought had like draftable potential as well, which I was like, what? They just loading down the running back room. Makes me think like, hey, are they gonna trade Travis Etienne or at least try to? UDFAs, I marked down Seth Hennigan and Jabbar Muhammad is notable for them. Jabbar Muhammad had like a late mid to late day three draftable grade on him. And needs kind of need, you know, secondary players on that team right now. And then also Seth Hennigan. I mean, the only quarterbacks they had on the roster are Nick Mullins, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, and there's one more guy there, John Wolford. And it's like I'm not really too high on John Wolford in any possible way. Like that's I feel like if John Wolford's your strong quarterback, you're losing the game. So I like Seth Hennigan. I had draft grade on him. Really liked him at Memphis over the last year. But yeah, man, I thought it was a pretty good pickup for them. Moving on to the Texans, decent draft from the Texans, especially at the beginning. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver, Iowa State, give us a B. Um, six three receiver. Didn't They kind of needed more of like a slot guy, especially with Tank Dell, with what's been going on with him so far in his career, injury wise. But I don't mind it. Him opposite side of Nico Collins. That's two pretty big receivers. Round two, pick 48, Ariante Ursray, offensive tackle, Minnesota. They needed help on the offensive line so badly, man. I probably would have took Ursray at pick 34, which would have been probably too early. 48 might have been too early necessarily, but with like the need and like, the positional value of offensive tackle and this class wasn't super deep. Like, I don't mind it at all, man. I thought it was a really good pick by them. And then round three, pick 79, they take Jaden Higgins' teammate, Jalen Noel, wide receiver out of Iowa State. Give us a B minus as well. I like all three of those guys as prospects. And I thought Jalen Noel, I thought that was pretty good value as well. So I thought it was a good pick. Round three, pick 97, they took Jalen Smith, cornerback, Southern Cal. Give us a C. And on the prospect, a little too early for me. So that's why I give it a C. Need kind of there, though. Round four, pick 116. Woody Marks, running back, Southern Cal, gave us a C. Need was there. That's the only reason I got a C. I thought this was really early for Woody Marks. Though there's a lot better running backs left on the board. Like if this would have been like somebody else, like Jordan James, I think was still on the board. Ollie Gordon, Taj Brooks. I think RJ Harvey went in this third round, so RJ Harvey's not on the board. I can't think of anybody else that was on the board off the top of my head, but like there's a lot of guys that like that would have been like a B probably instead of a C. Round six, pick 280 or pick 187, round six. Jalen Reed, safety, Penn State. Give us a C minus. He was fine. He was fine. You know, on the Penn State defense that was stacked anyways. Little hard to stand out more when you're playing right beside Kevin Winston Jr. and Kobe King and Abdul Carter on the field, and it's like kind of feel bad for him to an extent. Need not necessarily there as well either. Round six, pick 197. They took Graham Mertz, Florida. This is probably the worst pick in the draft. I talked about in the NFC video. I talked about Jarquez Hunter and Kyle McCord. Uh, you know, they needed another quarterback in the room, but it's like Graham Mertz, like Quinn Ewers was still on the board. Cam Miller, who I kind of liked, was still on the board. What? Graham Mertz? Really? Come on. Come on, Houston. Come on. Graham Mertz, really? That's the worst pick in the draft. Honestly, I'm going to go to say right now. Round seven, pick 224. I think keynote. I think that's an autocorrect right there by the Google slides here. I think his name is Kynot Hamilton. Yeah, it is. It's Kynonte Hamilton. So I'm gonna get a live. I had to do one of these in the last video. Oh wow, the screen just really just started to not like that at all. Um, Keontae. It's just literally just Keontae. There we go. Hamilton, an interior defensive lineman out of Rutgers. No grade on him. Didn't get around to watching him. And around 7, pick 245, Luke Lackey, tight end out of Iowa. Gave this a C. Thought it was fine. Thought the value was pretty decent. Didn't mind the pick. Indianapolis Colts, round 1, pick 14, Tyler Warren out of Penn State. Graded this an A. Thought this was a really, 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 really good pick for them. Really, really good fit on top of that. Round 2, pick 45, JT Tuimoloau, edge rusher, Ohio State. Gave us a B. Need was there. Just high motor player, man. I like JT Tuimoloau as a prospect. That was a really good pick. I thought this was like right where his value was at as well. Round 3, pick 80, Justin Wally, cornerback out of Minnesota. No grade. Didn't go around to watching him. So to see him go this early, this is one of like the first few guys like really like in the third round where it's like, whoa, like wait, I'm not too familiar with what he's got going on, right? Round 4, pick 127, Jalen Travis, Iowa State offensive tackle. Iowa State, not Ohio State. No grade again. A guy I didn't get around to watching, man. Round 5, pick 151, DJ Giddens, running back Kansas State. Great. Give us a C plus. Really like DJ Giddens as a prospect. I kind of wanted the Steelers to get him until we ended up with Caleb Johnson, which was like a godsend to an extent. Um, but you got Jonathan Taylor, obviously. They brought in Khalil Herbert in free agency, which that's not like needle moving really. So to bring in DJ Giddens, I didn't mind that one at all. Round 6, pick 189, Riley Leonard, quarterback Notre Dame. Gave us a C minus. You brought in Daniel Jones. They kind of, they said like Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, like open quarterback competition probably. And it's like, you bring in Daniel Jones and I can't believe this guy's about to get a name mentioned in one of my YouTube videos. They have Jason Bean on the roster, which is like, oh, okay, you probably don't want him as QB3, but like, shout out Jason Bean though. Shout out Jason Bean, Kansas Jayhawk legend. Um, yeah, man, I just gave this a C minus. Again, like, I wasn't super high on Quinn Ewers, but it's like Quinn Ewers is on the board over Riley Leonard. you know, I don't know about that. And Riley Leonard does make sense to an extent because he was literally comped to Daniel Jones um, a lot before he ended up not being that great. And then, his last year at Duke and getting hurt and then transferring to Notre Dame and whatever, right? So he makes sense in that system, that's for sure. But I just think there was a better player at that position on the board at the time. So scheme fit wise, maybe it is a C instead of a C minus. Round 6, pick 190, Tim Smith, interior defensive lineman out of Alabama. Gave us a C. I think it's a solid depth piece at the time of the pick. Then round 7, pick 232, Hunter Waller, linebacker, Wisconsin. I gave this a C plus. Had like a fifth, sixth round grade on him. Saw the values pretty well. Thought the positional need was there as well. So I didn't mind that pick too much with the Colts there at 232. Tennessee Titans. Obviously, you get Cam Ward. Yeah, I gave this an A minus. I know that's kind of controversial to an extent. Like a lot of people are like, that's an A, right? I gave this an A minus due to the fact that I'm kind of standing on my pride, but also swallowing it a little bit at the same time here with the fact that like I 100% understand taking Cam Ward number one overall to the Tennessee Titans. And I think Cam Ward does have potential to be a top, 12 quarterback in the NFL. But I do think that there's a small percent in there for him to be a bust still. And or just not be number one overall pick, production worthy, right? And I just thought that Abdul Carter was such a good player in this draft that it's just like there's still a little bit in me being like, hey man, I would have just took Abdul Carter and figured out quarterback later. Like honestly, man, honestly, or like rocked it out with Will Levis one more year. I can't believe I'm still saying that like after the draft is over, but like really like that's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. But man, Cam Ward does have potential to be really good. That's the only reason why I have it at A minus instead of an A. Round two, pick 52, they took Olawafimi, I think, Oladejo, edge rusher, UCLA. I guess a B minus, just due to the fact that there was, Nick Scourton went one pick before this, but there was still some edge rushers on the board that I liked a little more than Oladejo. I don't mind him as a prospect. I had like a late, like a early-ish round three guy, like kind of like mid to late day two guy. So I don't mind it honestly, but definitely some better players I think, and that's why there's that's the separation from a B plus to a B minus. Round three, pick 82. I think this is great value in Kevin Winston, the safety out of Penn State. I gave this a B plus. Great value. Great value at pick 82. Round four, pick 103. Chamari, I think is how I say it. Chamari, maybe. Chamari. DK, wide receiver out of Florida. I give this no grade. This guy didn't get around to watching. Round four, pick 120. Gunnar Helm, tight end out of Texas. I give this a B minus. I thought this was a really good pick. I thought the Titans had one of the best like drafts in the whole entire thing. Honestly, like that, like low key, the Titans probably had a top five draft off the top of my head. Um, Chiga Conquo's, this is fourth round pick in 2022, so he's been there past 2, 3 years, and he's had some solid production for them, 100%. But he's just never been a guy that's really like put you over the top. And they got Josh Wiley, in the fifth round in 2023, and so it's like you've got two guys that give you production. But I think Gunnar Helm, he's just so athletic. I think he's got a real shot to like be a tight end of the future there with Cam Ward, right? I thought it was a great pick by them. Thought it was great value as well. Round four, pick 136, you get Elliot Aoman or wide receiver Sanders gave us a B. Amazing value. Amazing value. Amazing value. And especially at a position of need, wow. Titans have a draft, right? Round five, pick 167, Jackson Slater, interior offensive lineman, Sacramento State. Gave us no grade. Guy didn't get around to watching. Round six, pick 183, Marcus Harris, cornerback out of Cal. Gave us a C. Solid prospect, solid value, position of need. So I just a C. Round six, pick 188, Khalil Mullins, running back Michigan. I gave this a D. This is one of the lowest grades I gave out, just due to the fact that I didn't like the prospect too much in Khalil Mullins. And also on top of that, you have Tony Pollard, you have Tajay Spears, Julius Chestnut, right? Jabari Small, But it's like I just didn't really understand it. They also signed somebody too that I remember. Let me look that one up real quick. Who did they sign? Titans UDFA. They signed somebody where I was like, oh man, that's not a bad signing. And it was a running back. And I was like, never mind. They didn't really need that guy. Um, let's see. They also saw David Binda, I think is how you say it. He was a linebacker out of Texas. He was a UDFA guy. I didn't mind that too much either. I didn't put that on the list though. What was this other running back, man? There was another running back that they signed, and I was like, man, that's not a bad player. And then it was like, oh man, they really didn't need that guy. And they also drafted Khalil Mullings. Oh my gosh, who is it? I'm looking at like I can't find it, man. Maybe it wasn't them. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it wasn't them, but shout out my guy. Shout out my guy. Got to give the shout out. Shout out my guy, kicker from Appalachian State, rookie mini camp invite or mini camp tryout is what this thing says. Michael Hughes. That's my guy from when I was at Appalachian State. I mentioned Jalen McLeod earlier as well. And I can't see because of the Zoom thing, but there we go. It is only Xavier Restrepo I have down there as a UDFA note. Um, Interesting that they got him right after they drafted Cam Ward. I'm sure after he went undrafted, Cam Ward was on the phone with Brian Callahan immediately, like, "Hey, go get my guy, right? This is my guy." So I don't blame them for going to get him at all. Ravens. Oh my gosh. If you watched my NFC draft grades video, I mentioned how do the Eagles keep getting away with this? How do the Ravens keep getting away with this, man? Some really solid picks. Really solid picks here. Malachi Starks at pick 27, A minus. Should have been an A, honestly. I don't know why I didn't give it an A. Maybe it's just a Steelers bias towards the Ravens. Steelers hate bias towards the Ravens. And we are now in the AFC North. We finished the AFC South. Malachi Starks, A minus. Don't mind it too much at all. This is reminiscent to when Kyle Hamilton kind of fell a little bit farther than he should have, in my opinion, to them, a few years ago. And now he's like an Pro Bowl safety every year. Sick. And I think Malachi Starks really gives them a leisure to like really turn it up in the secondary this year. Round two, pick 59, Mike Green, edge rusher Marshall. This is a weird pick to grade. I gave it a B plus. Really, if Mike Green is what he's supposed to be, if he, there's a lot of things non-football related when it comes to talking about this pick that I'm just not gonna get into, not the time and place for me, right? Um, but like if Mike Green is dude, Mike Green was top 10 on the PFF big board. He was a consensus first rounder, usually in the top 15 from everybody that I watch and listen to, including myself. I had him going 10 overall to the Bears in my final mock draft. They got him at pick 59. Like, uh-oh. Because if he is what people projected him to be and he, gets to play and everything, there's, like I said, there's some other stuff going on that's why he fell. But it's like, like, oh my gosh, the Ravens did it again. Round three, pick 91, Emory Jones. I didn't mind the pick. I didn't mind the need. I didn't mind the prospect. I just thought he went way too early. That's why I gave it a C. Round four, pick 129, Teddy Buchanan, linebacker, California. Gave him no grade. Didn't get around to watching him. I did hear that maybe it was a little bit too early of a pick. Round five, pick 141, Carson Vincent, offensive tackle, Alabama A&M. Gave this a C minus. A little bit too early for my liking there. I gave it a C minus though, due to the fact that they'd already taken an offensive tackle, and I guess depth is never too bad on the offensive line. But yeah, man, I just don't know. Round six, pick 178, Bilal Cone, cornerback out of Western Michigan. Gave us no grade. Guy didn't get around to watching. Round six, pick 186, Tyler Loop, kicker. We got a kicker drafted, Arizona. No grade there as well. He was actually not the first kicker drafted, though. Andre Borregales was by the Patriots. I think it picked 182. But, like, that surprises me a little bit because you got Justin Tucker. But again, like Mike Green, not really going to talk about it. But Justin Tucker's got off-field issues happening that kind of shows me like, hey, is this where we're at with the Justin Tucker situation, right? Round six, pick 203. I think they signed a kicker too as well, UDFA. Round six, pick 203, LeJontay Webster, wide receiver, Colorado. C minus. Don't hate the spot for him. Don't hate the need at wide receiver, kind of. But like, eh. And then, oh my gosh, the Ravens had to do it again. Round six, pick 210. Round six, pick 212. Aeneas Peebles, IDL, Virginia Tech. Robert Longerbeam, cornerback, Rutgers. Both good talents, both really good value. Oh my gosh. Two guys I wouldn't mind if the Steelers had gotten. That's for sure. In round seven, pick 243, Garrett Dellinger, interior offensive lineman, LSU. Think he's a guard, not a center. I gave that a C. Sorry, I had to exit in and out there real quick. I couldn't see because the Zoom panel. Thanks, Zoom. Yeah. Um, I'm trying to hide it right now. Why is it not working? Let's see if I can hide it more than it is. Oh, there we go. It's away fully. All right, Steelers. Steelers. Round one, pick 21. We got Derek Harmon, interior defensive line. Gives us a B minus. Didn't mind it too much. I talked about this in my live stream after day one, or after night one, man. Like, we needed an interior defensive lineman. That was clear, right? Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, both off the board. This was the next best available guy. Now, I had Alfred Collins ranked over this dude, but like, he's still really good. Like, a lot of draft analysts loved him. I was lower on him than most people, yes, but like, I don't mind the pick. But because I had guys ranked over him that were available, that's why it's a B minus. A lot of people would give this like an A. I hope he proves me wrong, right? As a fan of this team, it's like, hey, I'm lower on this guy than most. Prove me wrong. Please, please prove me wrong. Because if I'm giving you a B minus and you're proving me wrong, we're in the A range and you're a great player for my favorite team. And it's a win-win situation, right? Got to throw up a terrible towel one time real quick just because it's sitting right here. Go Steelers, baby. Round three, pick 83. We took Caleb Johnson, running back Iowa. Comps to Najee Harris, who we just lost. Welcome to Pittsburgh, man. I'm excited to see what he's going to do in this offense. And scheme fit wise and everything, great. Thought the value was really good too. Had him going like early second round, mid second round. B, maybe more like a B plus. Round four, pick 123, Jack Sawyer, edge rusher, Ohio State. Gave us a C plus. Need wasn't really there. Value, yeah, pretty decent. Do I like the player as a person? No, he's kind of an a-hole, right? But it's like, he's kind of good and the value was pretty good. And like now, the more that I thought about it after the fact, it's like, hey, we kind of actually needed one more edge rusher. And for how much I hate to be like corny here, but like I kind of see Nick Herbig in Jack Sawyer. Like I see a little bit of Nick Herbig in Jack Sawyer, and I feel like it makes sense. And I mentioned this, I think this was in the NFC Draft Grades video. You can go back and watch this. You can timestamp it. Don't know what the timestamp like number is, but like go when I'm talking about the Giants and I'm talking about Darius Alexander, and I said it's really a thing when you add a player with potential into a room in the NFL where that room already has like either the best player or one of the best players in the entire league at that level in that room. And I was talking about Darius Alexander going in the interior defensive line room, having potential with Dexter Lawrence. And I think about that now with Jack Sawyer, and I think about that when I'm going to talk about Jahdae Barron here in a little bit when I get to the Broncos. Like Jack Sawyer just got added into the best edge rushing room in the league, in my opinion, with one of the best edge rushers, if not the best, in TJ Watt. It's like, oh man, what a good pick. Round five, pick 164. We took Yaya Black, interior defensive lineman, Iowa. I had no grade on this. I didn't get around to watching him. I know there's a bunch of Steelers fans excited with this pick. I will say though, he's got potential, and add him in there, run stuff guy, like early down guy, probably. But like based on what I've read about him and stuff, and I did go back and watch some stuff afterwards, but like I'm not gonna grade it and be like, yeah, I watched this guy before the draft process, 100%. No, I didn't. Okay. Um, we my biggest need for us going into this draft besides quarterback and interior defensive line, well, really, no, you know what? Matter of fact, my biggest need for this team going in the draft was cornerback. Straight up, it was cornerback. It wasn't quarterback, it was cornerback. CB, not QB, right? And then interior defensive line, third. The fact that we didn't draft one until 229 just makes me a little worried, man. If yeah, I mean, let's talk about the Steelers depth chart at corner. Signed Darius Slay. Still got Joey Porter Jr., who is coming off a horrendous year. And our nickel back currently is projected to be Beanie Bishop or Brandon Eccles, who we signed from the Jets, who was also not good last year. Our backup Outside corners, Corey Trice Jr. and James Pierre. Whoop-de-doo, right? Uh, you also have Kyler McMichael and Deshaun Jameson and Cameron McCutcheon. And Dante Kent is listed as a nickelback. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm skipping some picks here before I go back to Will Howard. And sorry I'm taking so long to do this, but this is my team. So obviously I know the most about these picks and everything when it comes to it. And I'm going to talk about them the most because it's my team. I want to talk about them the most, right? Sebastian Castro is a guy that some people had like that franchise guy who is a guy that I respect. Shout out Marcus over there, dude. Like I respect him a lot for most of his takes. And I watch his stuff and take into account sometimes. Like he had a third to fourth round grade on Sebastian Castro. I had a I had a early to mid day three grade on him to get him UDFA. What a pickup! And like I'm watching Marcus's at that franchise guys AFC North draft grades today, and he's sitting over talking about like he thinks Sebastian Castro might be our starting like nickel. That's insane, dog. That's how barren our cornerback room is. That's nuts. That's awful. That's straight up. That's awful, right? Oh my gosh, man. We should have took a cornerback at pick 164. We should have took a cornerback at 123. Dorian Strong was still on the board. Oh my gosh, it'd been such a good fit, dude. Or Zaw Frazier at least. Like what? Oh my gosh, man. Round six, pick 185. We'll took Will Howard. I give this a B minus. I thought this was great value, man. Especially at the fact that we needed a quarterback and he's got potential, man. He's got some potential there. I think he does. I think he really does. I thought it was a great pick. Still think we should sign Aaron Rodgers 100%, but yeah. And we had two picks like almost back to back, like mid to late seventh round. We took Carson Bruner, linebacker Washington. This one kind of pissed me off. This is kind of a just a legacy pick. So there's like legit guys that could potentially help us this year. It's still on the board, and we took a legacy pick because we took his dad in like first round, I think in 1995 NFL draft, and he's a scout for us now. Come on, dog. I watched some stuff on him afterwards because I'd never heard of him. Eh, eh. We did need a linebacker. We needed somebody in that linebacker room, at least somebody, but it's like, man, I'm not sure, dude. Round seven, pick 229 to Dante Kent, cornerback, Central Michigan. No grade as well. Another guy I didn't really watch. Probably, if he plays, if he makes a team, like a nickel, maybe a slot guy. I don't know. And Sebastian Castro, UDFA. We also saw Ben Sauls, who had like the best like kick power in college football last year, but he's a pit guy. But like obviously we got Boz. Like, come on. Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals. Man. Shamar Stewart's so interesting. Little worrisome on that pick though. That's why I have a B minus. He's an edge rusher. He probably could play in the interior defensive line as well. Um, best athletic testing ever. Best relative athletic score ever. On Twitter. Man, I don't know how to feel about that pick. Round two, pick 49 took Demetrius Knight Jr., interior backer, South Carolina. I gave this a B. I really saw the need for an interior backer for them, so I'm really glad they got one. Maybe a little early, but like, Carson Schwessinger goes off the board, so we'll talk about that in a minute at pick 33, and you're like, oh man, we got to get one now, right? Eh, maybe a little early. Don't mind it too much though. Round three, pick 81, took Dylan Fairchild. I thought they had a need on the interior offensive line, so to get him, guard out of Georgia, didn't mind this at all. Gave it a B. Round four, pick 119, Barrett Carter, inside backer, Clemson. I gave this a C. Sorry, trying to fight off a yawn right there. I gave this a C, and here's why. Barrett Carter had an awful year last year at Clemson. I know this. And a lot of people didn't like this pick. They're like, it's too early. You didn't need to draft two interior backers. You might have needed to draft one, but you didn't need to draft two, especially if you took one at pick 49. Understandable. Barrett Carter, if he can develop his junior or before his last year, I think he was a senior this past year, so I think it was his junior year. Or maybe it was a sophomore year. He was an absolute monster for Clemson. And I still think that's in there somewhere inside of him as a football player. I think he should just I think he lost it. And I think he just needs to refine it. And I think if he can refine that, man, I think he could be a decently solid backer for a team in the NFL. Round 5, pick 153, Jalen Rivers, offensive tackle, Miami, no grade, didn't get around to watching him. Round 6, pick 193, Taj Brooks, running back, Texas Tech. I give this a C. Thought it was a fine pick. Maybe it's a C plus, but yeah, man. UDFA's though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Seth McLaughlin, the center from Ohio State, is probably the best UDFA signing there was in the whole entire thing. Gonna be completely honest with you. Coming off of an ACL tear. So, yes, he is not going to be able to play next year. But I had a 4th-round grade on this dude, man. He's legit. He's legit. If he can return from injury back to where he was at, what a pickup for the Bengals. And then Howard Cross the third, interior defense lineman under Dame. I really like this dude, honestly. And I had a draftable grade on him. This is one of my later day 3 guys that I really liked. Him and Thor Griffith, who I mentioned in my NFC draft grades video with the Seahawks. Yeah, man, I thought it was a great pickup for them, and the need was there. Browns. I should have saved the Browns for last. What an insane draft the Browns had. Oh my gosh, dude. So, first off, you know, my bad. You're picking 2. And all of a sudden, right before the draft starts, reports start flying out there. Giants and Browns fielding phone calls right before the draft starts. And then, dude, the Titans are on the clock, and I keep on getting these notifications. Browns and Jags in talks about a trade potentially. And I'm like, it's probably not gonna happen. And then within the span of 30 seconds, it was they might have a trade in place. Boom, trade happens. Jacksonville picks to the Cleveland Browns, right? To go up and get Travis Hunter. And then the Browns get all those picks and end up with Mason Graham. Wow. What a maneuver by the Browns right there. I loved it. Which I hate to say because the Browns are the biggest ops for me when it comes to the Steelers, but love that. Love that by the Browns. Gave Mason Graham an A minus. Really, really, really good pick. Honestly, should have been an A. But I think that's more of me factoring in what they got in the trade as well. Round 2, pick 33. It's the first pick of day 2. They took Carson Schweisinger, interior backer out of UCLA. I gave this a B minus. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a lot of people giving them crap for this pick. I really didn't mind it. I'm going to be honest with you. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has been very injured for them over the past few years, man. And when you go and you look at this team and you look at their depth chart and that linebacker position, man, you got Jordan Hicks, but he's getting old. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, future really in doubt, man, when it comes to injuries and stuff. And then you got Muhammad Diabate, who I'm and you got Devin Bush, and you went and got Jerome Baker. And it's man, that doesn't appeal to me if I'm a Browns fan. I'm oh man, we got a pretty solid linebacker room. No, not really. I didn't mind this pick, man, as much as most people did, to be honest. And I think Schweisinger is a pretty decent prospect too. Round 2, and obviously there was a lot of talent still off on the board at the time that they could have gotten. I understand that, but I didn't mind the pick as much as most. There's other guys that would have taken probably, but I don't mind it as most people do. Round 2, pick 36 is another pick I don't mind as most people. A lot of people had, Caleb Johnson and Travion Henderson, ranked over Quinshon Judkins. I didn't. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Running back rankings for me this year: Ashton Jeanty, obviously number 1. Omarion Hampton, number 2. Who's running back 3, man? Dog, I had Quinshon Judkins there. Straight up, I had Quinshon Judkins as my running back 3. I am not scared to admit that. I love his potential at this level. I gave this a B, man. I thought it was a super good pick for them. But then this is where it just starts to get confusing for the Browns. So you go in day 3, right? Or sorry, day 2. Sorry. Still in day 2. And you took Carson Schweisinger and you took Quinshon Judkins. Then you go get Harold Fannin, which I really don't mind that pick that much because David Njoku has been pretty injury prone, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. And the rest of their tight end room is Blake Whitehart, Brendan Bates, and Trey McKitty. And none of those three names appeal to me at in the slightest when it comes to a starting tight end in the NFL if David Njoku gets hurt. So I really didn't mind this pick. C plus, maybe a B minus to be honest. But then it gets really, really funky. They shock a lot of people. They take Dylan Gabriel at pick 94. People thought they might take Shador here at pick 5 and really here at 33 and 36. And then they take Dylan Gabriel while Shador Sanders is still on the board at 94. And that's not even this isn't even the end of this part, right? Because they end up taking Shador. Everybody knows that now. You take Dylan Gabriel at 94, and everybody's just like, wait, what? Including myself. I was one of the biggest Dylan Gabriel fans in the world. And I just didn't really see it a whole lot translating to the next level. I could not believe that they took Dylan Gabriel at pick 94. I gave it a C though because it was a need, and it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, hold up. Maybe it was a C minus, but yeah. Round 4, pick 126, they took Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson was my RB7. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hold up. Timeout. Genty, Hampton, Judkins, Henderson, Johnson, Sampson. RB6. My bad. RB6. Dylan Sampson was my RB6. And I thought this was great value. I thought this was amazing value. And yes, they needed a running back going into the draft, but you just took Quinshon Judkins at the top of the second round. I I didn't understand that one at all. I gave it a C minus. I love the prospect. Thought it was amazing value. Didn't get the pick at all. And then this is the first ever 3 question mark grade on the history of my channel. What? Round 5, pick 154, Shador Sanders, quarterback, Colorado. Excuse me. Cleveland. Cleveland. I can't even really say Cleveland, what's the plan? Because they never have one. The Cleveland Browns have never had a plan in place, it feels like, especially at the quarterback position. I just talked about Dylan Gabriel at pick 94, but then you took Shador at pick 144. And I'm not even really going to get into the whole Shador falling thing because I don't understand it either, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't understand it either. I was talking to my friends. I was like, man, there's got to be something deeper to this, right? There's no way he's fallen this far. There's no way, right? I feel like I can't even really talk about this pick. That's why I put 3 question marks as a grade because I'm like, what the hell do I grade this? Like, what? It's so insane. I've never, I have never seen a team treat the draft the way the Browns did. It was so like insanely peculiar that I was just like, what is happening? Honestly, let's just move on from the Browns because it makes my head hurt. Moving to the AFC South, not South. Sorry, Miami thing is South. AFC East. There we go. Got the Dolphins. Dolphins kind of made me mad in this draft. So you take Kenneth Grant, IDL, definitely a need, but you end up taking 3 IDLs, which I thought was interesting. But I thought that they took Kenneth Grant a little early, gave it a B minus. The need was 100% there. Prospect, maybe I was a little low on Kenneth Grant than some people. Here's my IDL too. No, it wasn't. No, it was not. Let's back that up. Mason Graham was my IDL 1. Alfred Collins was my IDL 2. Kenneth Grant was my IDL 3. Right? No. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold the phone. I'm so off here. And it's so late, so I can't even think. That's why. Sorry. Mason Graham, IDL 1. Walter Nolan, IDL 2. Alfred Collins, IDL 3. Kenneth Grant, Derek Carmen, pseudo 4 or 5. That's what it was. That's my bad. Um, yeah, man, give us a B minus. I honestly I like the pick. Probably more like a B now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, man, really just need it. They needed an interior defensive lineman so bad, and I understand. I just thought the offensive line was a little bit more of a need. And I thought there were some names there. Kellen Banks was off the board. Josh Simmons ends up falling to 32 because of the injury history, so I kind of understand not taking him. But man, Gray's able. You know, he ends up going 5 picks later. Gray's able. It's a little too early for Josh Connerly. There's definitely an off Donovan Jackson a little bit, maybe a little bit too early for him as well. I don't know. Round two, pick 37. They take Jonas Avaya, interior. He played tackle at Arizona, but everybody kind of knew he was going to play guard at the next level. Interior offensive lineman guard out of Arizona. Gives B minus. Maybe it was a little too early, but like, hey man, the need was so big for them there that I was just like, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Round five, pick 143. You get Jordan Phillips, interior defensive lineman out of Maryland. Give us no grade. I actually didn't get around to watching him. At round five, pick 150. Jason Marshall Jr., quarterback, Florida. Gives C plus. Thought it was pretty good value. Thought it was a position of need, and thought prospect pretty decent, right? So I thought it was a good pick for them. Round five, pick 155. Dante Trader Jr., safety, Maryland. Gives us a C. Prospect's okay. Need kind of there. Whatever value, fine as well. Round six, pick 179. Ollie Gordon second, running back Oklahoma State. I give this a C minus, and here's why. I like Ollie Gordon as prospect. I thought it was amazing value, right? I thought he was like a fifth round guy, right? Fourth, fifth round guy. But like the prospect, like the value, and the only reason we got a C plus is because of that, right? Like I thought this is more like a D pick for them. Like, you got Devon Achane, who's you're giving a ton of snaps to a game. You drafted Jalen Wright, what, decently early last year. Let me look at their depth chart real quick because there's one more guy that they have. Who did they bring in? They brought it Alexander Mattison, I think. Um, and you got Devon Achane, got your fourth round pick in Jalen Wright last year that I was pretty high on, and you also brought in Alexander Mattison as a free agent. Like Ollie Gordon's a guy that I think could go to a different team and have some sort of potential, like maybe the Bears or the Steelers or Patriots maybe, right? With minus the fact that they drafted Trayvon Henderson, right? But like I I just didn't get this pick at all for them. I thought there's a lot more ways that they could have attacked that, maybe with another offensive lineman or something. Round seven, pick 231. They took Quinn Ewers. They had Zach Wilson, Tua in that quarterback room, so they add somebody. I thought this was pretty decent value as well. The need, eh, that's why I gave it a C minus. But I thought the value was there. Round seven, pick 253. Zeke Biggers. IDL out of Georgia Tech. I gave this a C. Need still kind of there, but like thought the value was good as well, but it's like, hey, you already drafted two interior defensive linemen, so it's like, eh. UDFA's they got Jalen Conyers, tight end out of Texas Tech. Don't mind this. Kind of more of a run blocking tight end, but hey, man, I mean, you brought in John Smith last year, who really showed out for y'all. You got Pharaoh Brown as well, Julian Hill. So I don't mind this adding him into that room. A few more guys that I've never really heard of, and then also got Theo Weiss, wide receiver of Missouri. I didn't think this was too bad. You got Jalen Water, got Tyreek Hill, got Malik Washington. You brought in Nick Westbrook Akine, and you got D Eskridge as well. But like the rest of those guys, Taj Washington, I don't mind. But to bring in a guy like Theo Weiss Jr., who had production at Missouri, man, I don't mind that at all. Jets. Armand Mimbu, B plus, really, really good pick for them. Solidifies that offense line now, really for me, in my opinion. Round two, pick 42, Mason Taylor, tight end, LSU, gave this a B. You look at. I talked about this in the live stream after night two, and I'm like, hey man, you look at that roster, and your starting tight end was Jeremy Rucker, and it's like, do you really? If you're a Jets fan and you just brought in Justin Fields, who kind of needs the weapons, and it's like, hey, you got Garrett Wilson and you got some other receivers and you got two solid running backs and your offensive line is great. the tight end's like really like the missing piece there, really. So I don't mind that at all. Maybe one more wide receiver as well, and I'll get into that when we get to Aaron Smith in a minute. But I didn't mind the pick at all for the Jets. I thought it was a really good pick. Son of Jason Taylor, by the way. Round three, pick 79, Azariah Thomas, cornerback FSU. I guess a B minus. Thought the need was I didn't really see the need like a lot, but like I kind of saw it. Thought it was great value though. And again, it's one of those things where you add a guy into a room with a top guy at that position and Sauce Gardner, right? Like, uh, good pick, right? Round four, pick 110, Arian Smith, wide receiver Georgia. This is another one of the worst picks of the draft. I had Arian Smith late day three, maybe undrafted, like elite athlete, right? Like super fast and everything, but it's like, and this is what the Jets have been drafting, right? Like Malachi Corley, Xavier Gibson, I think was not drafted, but like it's a guy that they have and has, been giving, snaps and stuff to. This fits that mold, but like go watch some Arian Smith tape. That dude drops the ball so much, man. It's bad. Round four, pick 130, Malachi Moore, safety Alabama. I gave it a C plus. It's actually might be more like a B minus. I thought it was a really good pick by them, actually. This should have been in the B somewhere now I'm thinking about it. And I thought this was a really good value, man. Round five, pick 162. They took Francisco Mauigoa, maybe. That's how you say that. Linebacker, Miami, gets his no grade. Guy didn't get around to watching. Round five, pick 176. Tyler Barron, edge rusher, Miami. Again, another no grade. A guy didn't get around to watching. I didn't even realize that they took my two Miami players in a row. UDFA's, I said Dean Clark, safety out of Fresno State. This is a guy that had a draftable grade on at least. So, yeah. There's a guy I was surprised to see it go undrafted. I'll put it like that. New England Patriots, they had a lot of picks. Them and the Raiders are like this, where I actually had to like separate it because they had so many picks. Round one, pick four, they took Will Campbell. Had to give this one an A. This was the one that I was on for a long time. So I thought it was an amazing pick by them. Had to give it an A. Round two, pick 38, Travion Henderson, running back, Ohio State. I gave this a B. I know there were some people that didn't really like this to pick. I don't mind it. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been that high on oh my gosh, Ramondre Stevenson. Why was I blanking there? I've never been that high on Ramondre Stevenson, if we're being honest here. Not super high on Antonio Gibson there either. Especially with like Ramondre Antonio Gibson is like right? So I thought it was a great pickup by then to add him into this room. Round three, pick 69, Kyle Williams, wide receiver, Washington State. I gave this a C. I thought this was just honestly a little way too early for Kyle Williams. There were some receivers on the board at the time that I also liked a lot more than him. So I was just like, right? Like Jalen Noel was still on the board at the time. I definitely would have took him over Kyle Williams 99 out of 100 times. How about that? So I gave it a C. Need kind of there, yeah. Like, I mean, your wide receiver room is, obviously bringing Stephon Diggs. So you got Pop Douglas, brought in Matt Collins, had Kayshon Boutte, who had a decent year last year. I said brought him in, but still have him. I mean, still have Jalen Polk, still have Javon Baker. Like, I was just like, man, I don't know about that one, right? Jared Wilson, interior offensive lineman, Georgia. I think he is a center, if I'm correct. They brought in Garrett Bradbury this offseason. They got Micah Winu, Cole Strange, Will Campbell in the draft. Brought in Morgan Moses as well this offseason. So I didn't mind this pick, honestly. I gave it a B minus. The need, I think, could end up being there. And don't mind the prospect, didn't mind the value either. Round four, pick 106, Craig Woodson, safety, California, gave no grade here. Didn't tap into him at all. Round four, pick 137, Joshua Farmer, IDL, FSU. I give this a C. I know there were some guys that were like some analysts that were really high on this guy, Joshua Farmer. I could kind of see the need. They needed some depth there at least, so that's why I gave it a C. Maybe more of a C plus value, not too bad. Round five, pick 146, Braden Swinson, edge rusher, LSU. I had to give this one a B, man. This is a guy had like a mid to late day two grade on, and to get him in the fifth round, like middle of the fifth round, man, like I thought that was a really good pick. Like you look at their edge rushing room, right? And you got Harold Landry, who you brought in free agency. You got Anthony Jennings, you got Cleveland Chasen, who you brought in free agency as well. You got Keon White, who you drafted in the second round in 2023. But like I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, none of those names really like are like, oh man, that's a really good edge rusher right there, right? Like, I really like that pick by them. Round six, pick 182, Andre Borregales, kicker out of Miami, no grade, obviously. And then wow, I didn't give Marcus Bryant a grade at all because I wasn't going to give him a grade. There's a guy I didn't get to, offensive tackle out of Missouri. Round seven, pick 251, Julian Ashby, a long snapper out of Vandy. No grade there, obviously, but interesting. And round seven, pick 257, they took Kobe Minor, a cornerback out of Memphis. Mr. Irrelevant was the last pick of the draft. Also, no grade here for him. Another guy I didn't get to, but I guess I forgot to also put that in there that I didn't get to him. Was same as Marcus Bryant. That's my bad on both of those. Buffalo Bills. Maxwell Harrison in the first round. Thought corner was a pretty decent need for them. Had to give it a B plus. Thought it was a really good pick. Think he fits in well there as well. Round two, pick 41, TJ Sanders, interior defensive lineman. South Carolina gave this a B plus as well. That was a good pick. They did trade up a bunch of spots to come up there and get it. I'm not exactly sure on the trade details there. Don't think they gave up too much off the top of my head, but yeah, man, like thought the need was there. Thought the player was good. Thought it was good value. Round three, pick 72, Landon Jackson, edge rusher, Arkansas. I gave this a C plus. I was not too high on Landon Jackson. This is about the value I had for him. The need was there. That's why it's a C plus, like at the position of edge rusher. But like, there's a lot of people that are like, man, that was a really good pick. That was a steal. But like, I can't bring myself to say that because I wasn't as high on him. Round four, pick 109, Deion Walker, interior defensive lineman, Kentucky. I gave this a C plus. Like the prospect, thought the value was pretty decent as well. Just right around where I had him going. Um, let's say taking him after taking TJ Sanders, a little interesting that TJ Sanders kind of fills out that room, but like, hey man, whatever, right? Can't have too much depth, especially at a position like that when you got guys rotating on and off the field. Anyways, round five, pick 170, Jordan Hancock, cornerback, Ohio State. He played more safety, I think, at Ohio State. I'm assuming that they're going to kind of line him up as a nickel role. That's why they draft him as a corner instead of a safety. Give us a C plus. Like the prospect, thought the value was decent. And need was kind of there. Yeah. Round five, pick 173, Jackson Hall's tight end, Georgia Tech. I give this a D actually. Thought this was early on Jackson Hall's and didn't really see the need, man. So I didn't really like this pick too much. That's why I gave it a D. Round six, pick 177, Dorian Strong, cornerback, Virginia Tech. I actually should have gave this like a B minus. Really, really good pick for them. Super good pick for them. And great value on top of that, man. Round six, pick 206, Chase Lunt, the offensive tackle out of UConn. Give this a C. Depth piece, right? And round seven, pick 240, Caden Prather, wide receiver, Maryland. Give this a C plus, man. I didn't mind this pick too much. I didn't mind Caden Prather as a prospect. Kind of had him as like a fifth, sixth round grade. They get him like deep in the seventh round. And you look at their receiver room, right? And it's Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Joshua Palmer. But like the best receiver room is Curtis Samuel, KJ Hamler, Laviska Chenault, a guy I've never heard of, and Jalen Virgil. Shout out Jalen Virgil, App State guy I knew from when I was there with working with the football team. But it's like Caden Prather, like, if there's two or three injuries, like Caden Prather might end up playing some significant snaps for the Buffalo Bills this year. Like it's kind of crazy. And then last but not least, man, I know I've been going at this for like I think almost an hour already. I know my NFC draft grades was an hour on the dot. Or it was like an hour and 38 seconds or something like that. But anyway, close enough. I'm gonna try to go through this NFC West a little faster. It's 12:12. It's late. I'm tired. Gotta go to bed. Gotta get up and go to work in the morning, man. But yeah, man, we're grinding this one out this year, dude. Last few years I promised I was going to put out draft grades for both conferences and didn't get to them. So I really wanted to, really grind this out this year. I was up to about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning last night, Saturday night, like, getting all these made. And is this a different font? It is. I don't really care though. Kansas City Chiefs, starting the AFC West, finishing it out. Round one, pick 32, Josh Simmons, offensive tackle, Ohio State. This could potentially be one of the biggest steals in the draft. I mentioned it about Will Johnson in the last video, NFC Draft Grades video. Go check it out. With the Cardinals, man, like Josh Simmons is like a top 15, like just like Will Johnson. Like Josh Simmons is like a top 15 player in this draft, healthy, and it's like get him at pick 32, and it's a position I need, and I had to give it an A minus, dude. It's really like an A plus if he ends up turning in what I think he could be, healthy. Round two, pick 63. They took Omar Norman Lott, interior defensive lineman, Tennessee. I guess a B minus, position of need. I thought it was pretty decent value. It's kind of like where I had him going around. Round three, pick 66. Ashton Galati. Not sure exactly how to pronounce it. Edge rusher out of Louisville. I gave this no grade. As a guy I didn't get to watch and man, or get around to watch, and like I was really surprised that he went this early, because I'd never really heard of him. Round three, pick 85, Noah Williams, cornerback, California. I gave this a C minus. I think I meant to actually give this a C plus. Position of need, decent prospect, decent value. Yeah, it's meant to be a C plus, not a C minus. Round four, pick 133, Jalen Royals, wide receiver, Utah State, gives a C plus. Position of need, kind of. Don't mind the prospect, didn't mind the value there either for them. Round five, pick 156, Jeffrey Bassa, not sure exactly how to pronounce that, linebacker, Oregon, gives a C plus. Something I noticed about Jeffrey Bassa when watching him really was like he low-key has like really good like ball skills as a linebacker. Um, so I think it's interesting, especially having Nick Bolton there, who's been a pretty good linebacker as well. I think it's a good guy to learn under for Jeffrey Bassa from Oregon. And then round seven, pick 228, man, they got Brashard Smith. I thought this was insane value. I had Brashard Smith, I think, in my top like 12, maybe 15 running backs in a deep class, obviously. So it's like that's really not like too far back there. Like I had like a fifth, sixth round grade on Brashard Smith, and he was running back at SMU last year. Really, really strong runner. I gave this a B minus. And then I also noted UDFA Jake Bradenstool, tight end out of Clemson. Really just good catching tight end, and it's another situation where it's like you're putting him in the same room as Travis Kelce. He's bound to learn something, and he had production at the college level. That was a super good signing for them. Broncos, hey man, the Broncos, the Broncos out of the guys that I really knew had a pretty decent draft, dude. Round one, pick 20, Jahdae Barron. This should have been an A. I don't know why I didn't have it as an A. Dude, what a pick, man. Adding him in there with you add a guy that I thought was a top 12 player in the draft into the a top three, top five defense in the league. Oh my gosh, man. With Pat Surtain and Riley Moss. Oh my gosh, dude. Round two, pick 60, took RJ Harvey, running back UCF. I will say this: RJ Harvey, I think, was my RB7 behind Dylan Sampson. I gave this a B minus. You know, it was my RB7, and I had a mid, like, I thought this was really good value. Like, I had a late round two, early round three grade on him. Position of need, but RJ Harvey is kind of more of a receiving back, and so that's why it surprised me because, like, I just didn't understand it. Round three, pick 74, Pat Bryant, wide receiver, Illinois. I gave this a C plus. Kind of position need, big wide receiver, kind of built more like a tight end. So I kind of understand why the Broncos did that, why Sean Payton did that, 100%. Round three, pick 101, Savion Jones, edge rusher, LSU. I gave this a C. Need kind of there, yeah, 100%. But like, I thought there was better players on the board at that position at the time. Round four, pick 134, Quay Robinson, edge rusher, Alabama. I give this no grade. I overheard the ESPN analysts after this pick was made talking about how like he's athletic, but he needs to like figure some stuff out. I didn't get around to watching it, that's why I didn't give him no grade, but I did hear that at least. Round six, pick 216. I think this is the only punter drafted. Jeremy Crawshaw out of Florida. I gave this no grade, obviously. Round seven, pick 241. Caleb Lawner, tight end, Utah. Also, no grade. A guy I didn't get around to watching. I don't think I watched a single Utah player this year. Now I'm thinking about that. And then UDFA, notable UDFAs they had Xavier Truss, offensive tackle, Georgia, a guy that's just been starting there for a few years. So I think it's interesting that they have him, brought him in there, man. Like, as a potential man. And then Johnny Walker Jr. This is a guy that I had a draftable grade on. This is a guy I had like late round six, like anytime in round seven. I thought it was a good pick for any team, really. As a edge depth piece out of Missouri, really good production last year out of Johnny Walker Jr. So that was a really good pick by the Broncos. And then last, no, not last. Sorry. I was thinking we were on the last team. Not just yet. We're almost there though. Las Vegas Raiders, round one, pick six. Ashton Genty, A plus, rare A plus. I think this is only one of two A pluses I think I gave out this year. Him and Abdul Carter. Man, what a pick for the Raiders. That dude, this offense has a chance to be really scary this year. Then they kind of confused me with this pick. Now there was a lot of people, analysts that I watch, that I listen to, that I respect their opinions, I trust their opinions 98% of the time, that were really high on Jack Bech. I just wasn't, man. I just didn't see it that much. I gave this a C plus, strictly because of the positional need. There was, I will say at least, like Jaden Higgins was off the board, Luther Burden was off the board. Um, oh my gosh, somebody else went around in this range, I think, too. I gotta look it up now because now that's gonna mess with me that I don't know who it is. Um, let's see, 2025 NFL draft listing. Where's football references at? They probably don't have it coded in yet. Dang it. NFL draft tracker will go like that. Um, let's see, round two. Let's see, round two wide receivers. Jack Bech went at 58. But like Elliot Ayomanor, Jalen Noel, I know off the top of my head, like that's two guys I prefer over Jack Bech. Maybe Pat Bryant. I think Trey Harris. Trey Harris had like just went off the board. I think he went at 55 to the Chargers. I'll say, yeah. But yeah, man, like that's just a few names to name there that like I like over a Jack Bech, and like position need, and I know there's guys that were high on him, so I gave it a C plus. But yeah, I think they could have went somewhere else with that. Round three, pick 68, Darian Porter, big need, big position of need. The three positions of need, I think, for me were running back, wide receiver, and corner, if I'm not mistaken. And they took those three in their first three picks. Um, Las Vegas Raiders need wide receiver, running back, IDL, edge, corner, inside back, or safety. Sorry, my top three needs then were wide receiver, IDL, and corner. So not running back. I think running back was fourth for me. So I mean, still though, like, but it was like Ashton Genty, right? But like Darian Porter, like what a pickup for them. I think that was my second biggest need for them was actually corner. I think IDL was actually first. So, not taking well, you do take two IDLs later, but like yeah, we'll get to there. But like, man, like what a pick. Really good value, I thought. I had him like kind of early mid second round, like probably in that 40 to 50 range, like pick number wise. So to get that guy at 68 in the third round at a position need, man, what a pick by the Raiders. Round three, pick 98, Caleb Rogers, interior offensive lineman, Texas Tech. Didn't get around to watching him. No grade there. Round three, pick 99, Charles Grant, offensive tackle, William Murray. I give this a B minus. That was a really good pick for them, man. Those are really good pick for them. Round four, pick 108, Dante Thornton Jr., wide receiver, Tennessee. I give this a C minus. Again, man, like just not the receiver I would have went with there. Just not the receiver I would have went there. Round four, pick 135. They got probably one of my favorite names there in the draft, Tonka Hemingway, interior defensive lineman, South Carolina. I give this a C because like I didn't mind the prospect necessarily, and the need was definitely there. Like IDL was their biggest need for me, but like I just thought it was too early probably, and there was other guys I would have taken. Round six, pick 180, JJ Pigo, however you say it. IDL, Ole Miss, gave us a C plus. Like the prospect, like the value for sure. Position need C plus. Round six, pick 213, Tommy Mellett. Now this is interesting. They drafted him as a wide receiver, Montana State. I gave this no grade. Just a guy I didn't get around to watching. But then I figured out afterwards he was Montana State's starting quarterback. Insane. And then they take Cam Miller two picks later, who Montana State actually played in NDSU, the NDSU quarterback, Cam Miller. I give this a C minus. I actually would like to change that verbally right now to a C. I didn't mind the prospect in Cam Miller. As a later day three guy, I did not mind the prospect in Cam Miller. I'm not gonna lie. He is, yes, he's a North Dakota State quarterback, and track record there, oh, not great, right? But like, dude, I didn't mind the pick. And like your quarterback room right now is obviously Geno, still got Aiden O'Connell, and then you got Carter Bradley, like South Alabama guy, and Haj Malik Williams, who you gave a camp invite. It was the UNLV quarterback this year. Like, I don't mind that, honestly. Round 7, pick 222, they took Cody Lindenberg, linebacker, Minnesota. Guy didn't get around to watching, no grade there. And then two notable UDFAs they had Melo Dotson, cornerback, Kansas, and Jalen Walker, the other Jalen Walker, linebacker, Indiana. This is a guy that I really liked as a later day 3 pick for really any team at all. And Melo Dotson had like a round 5, 6 grade on. And then last but not least, man, I appreciate everybody sticking around, man. This is almost like emotional to an extent. Like this is the last right here. This is the last of the 2025 NFL draft cycle. It's been so good to me, man. And so like, I'm excited, man, to be able to make these videos. Los Angeles Chargers, round 1, pick 22, Omarion Hampton. I gave it a B minus. It confused me, especially at the time. I understand it now a little more than I did before. You brought in Najee Harris and like you have Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal who have like given you like snaps and like meaningful like snaps and carries and stuff in the past year, 2 years, right? But it's like Omarion Hampton is really good, and ultimately, like he's a top 30 player in this draft for me. And it's like, man, I completely understand it, right? And especially Jim Harbaugh's identity of how he wants to run his football team. Round 2, pick 55, Trey Harris. I give this a B plus. I was super, super high on Trey Harris. I actually had a comp of him to Mike Williams. So to bring him in the room with Mike Williams, oh man, it was the same thing last year with Roma Dunze and Keenan Allen. Um, don't mind that at all, man. And if there's injury history there with Trey Harris, 100%. And if he ends up being injured a lot, it's a bad pick. But it's like, man, I love the upside of it. Round 3, pick 86, Jamari Caldwell, interior defensive lineman, Oregon. Liked him as a prospect, saw the need, gave it a C plus, right? Round 4, pick 125, Kyle Kennard, edge rusher, South Carolina. I thought this was amazing value for Kyle Kennard. Gave it a B minus, edge rusher need kind of there as well. Round 5, pick 158, Keandre Lambert Smith, wide receiver, Auburn. I gave us a C. Yeah, the need for wide receiver was there for me, but like you got Trey Harris earlier. Thought there was better prospects there at the wide receiver position over him, anyways. So I just, right. Um, Round 5, pick 165. They took one of my favorite prospects in this draft. This was a guy that was ranked pretty low on PFS Big Board. In several mock drafts, I was able to get him in like the 6th, 7th round. And dude, I really like the prospect in Rondé Gadsden, the second out of Syracuse, the tight end. I think he's got potential to be like legit. Like I think he's got like like a prime Darren Waller ceiling. Honestly, I think he's got a chance to be good. I had to give it a B. And like, you look at the tight end room. Will Dissly was like very, very clutch for you last year as a tight end. And he went and brought in Tyler Conklin, but like those are two kind of veteran, older tight ends, anyways. And they're both like not like I hate to say this, but like Will Dissly and Tyler Conklin are like super, super athletic, and Rondé Gadsden is. Like I thought it was an amazing pick for them. Round 6, pick 109, Branson Taylor, offensive tackle, Pittsburgh. Didn't go around to watching him. Same with round 7, pick 256. Triqueze Bridges, cornerback in Florida. Didn't get around watching either one of those. In round 6, pick 214, they took RJ Mickens, safety out of Clemson. I give this a C plus. I thought this was amazing value. Really like the prospect in RJ Mickens, athletic, like safety. They didn't really need him though, but like I just like the value in the process so much I had to give it a C plus. And then a UDFA, I had to mark down Rocket Sanders, Raheem Sanders, running back out of South Carolina. First off, shout out to my boy Larkin, who's a Chargers fan. Getting two South Carolina guys. He's also a South Carolina fan, so I'm sure he's happy about that. But like, I had to mark this one down because like Rocket Sanders had like a very meaningful, like impactful college career as a running back, and like I mentioned, like you've already have like two guys in that room that like gave you meaningful snaps. You signed Najee Harris, you drafted Marion Hampton, your first round pick. So it's like Rocket Sanders is 100% the odd man out there, but it's like I could see him still end up being better than Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins and being RB3 on this team. So I think it's an interesting pick. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it, dude. Wow. The 2025 draft cycle is over. We have done grades for all 32 NFL teams and all 257 picks, plus talking about some UDFAs, man. Ah, I appreciate you watching. And again, man, this draft cycle has been so good to me. If you're new here and you've stuck around this long for this hour plus, I think this has been going on now. I appreciate you. And like truly, man, just do this all for fun, man. So like anything that we get, any like, any comment, any subscription, any any view, any watch time, even if it's 30 seconds, even if you're a Jets fan and you came on here and you watched me talk about the Jets for a minute and a half and we're like, okay, I'm good, and never watch me again. I appreciate you. Yeah, man, this has been awesome. This whole situation has been awesome. But yeah, man, I gotta exit out of this so I can get the Zoom back up. But I appreciate you watching, and I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. And hey, check me out, man. Check me out all season. Got some fun stuff coming. Some redrafts in the past few years. And yeah, man, appreciate you watching. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.